6.
Take 6,000. Welcome to the Bean Pod. And I'm Butterbean Queen, driver of the 03 for Elite Podium Performance and the 03 dirt car for HTS occasionally, / drive my family car rarely now for QMS, Queen Motorsports, whatever that's called anymore, but Butterbean Incorporation maybe. I don't know. We've been trying to start this podcast all summer. We're like 6 months into this. Equipment failures. We're no Dirty Mo, but it is the Bean Pod.
No, not at all.
My co-host is my girlfriend.
I'm Nicole.
Just Nicole. Don't want to tell any info about you.
I'm Nicole.
That's Nicole. She is my
water
best friend,
filler-upper, PR rep, social media rep, podcast extraordinaire.
Yes, she's a big part of this podcast, even though I give her hell all the time. I appreciate you, and we're gonna have fun.
Appreciate you.
We're gonna have fun. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, and then we've dropped some money into this, and we tried to record one back. The Hampton Heat, right?
I think so.
And we even took the equipment to Langley, and tried to get
our good friend
Rob from Flo Racing to help us, and Dillner and those guys, and we still had issues. So
here we are in November.
Yes, I'm not gonna jinx it, but it is November 12th. Nicole just had a birthday at Caraway last weekend, and we're here. So what do you think? We're podcasting.
Wow. God bless. Who gave us microphones?
So we started a Bean Pod because we have plans for it. Hopefully we're not at this desk in the next episode.
We're going to get beanbag chairs.
Yeah, we're going to be in beanbag chairs here soon, I think, in our trophy room or whatever you want to call it.
Butterbean headquarters is really what this is. You guys can't see it because the camera's on top of it, but it's also Cross Authentics headquarters. Ship all our shirts out of here.
Yes, Cross Authentics is a company I started for merch. And hopefully we'll have more than just Butterbean merch along the way.
Maybe one day we can have Bean Pod merch.
Yeah, that's the plan. So this is actually
Put my face on a shirt for once.
Nicole has, yes, that's very true. Nicole has actually let us run the merch deal out of this room and the trophy room, and we've got some checks up. Got some checks that need some hanging. We got our Wilkes-Barre trophy back here. That's pretty cool. Pretty much everything I've won this year is in this room.
Yeah.
So she really loves that. And so we got some exciting things. Probably have some people on. My phone keeps vibrating, letting me know how bad I'm losing in fantasy in our 03 team fantasy league.
I wouldn't know that struggle.
Yes, I'm going downhill, and Nicole is going up in the standings somehow, surprisingly.
So this is my first year ever playing fantasy, really watching an NFL season from start to finish. So number 2 in the standings in the 03 league.
Yes, Lee Pulliam's falling. I'm falling. We're going backwards in the standings, and I don't know. It's been fun. But so this is episode 1. Might as well go ahead and get that out, which obviously you knew that. We're planning on having it on YouTube with a video and Apple Podcasts, I guess. Spotify, wherever we can.
Wherever you get your podcasts. I don't know other than those big 2 where you get it, but you'll find us somewhere. That'll
be the Bean Pod. We're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Just a little bit to get, so some of my fans can see a little bit about me away from the track. Know a little bit about Nicole away from the track, because it is nice. We are people away from the racetrack, and we are people. We are people. Yes, we like to have a good time and enjoy it. So Nicole has been good. She planned the first 3 episodes out. So
this is what happens when I have too much coffee at work and my brain goes 10,000 miles an hour.
Yes. So I guess let's just.
You ready to dive into this?
Yes, dive into it.
I've got a list of questions.
Yeah, let's dive into it. This is episode 1 of the Bean Pod.
All right. So number 1 on my list. Let's go back to the very, very beginning, before you were Butterbean. So what made you want to start racing? Where did that all come from?
So my father raced when we were, like I said, like I knew you back then. No, I would say I was always around it as a baby, and I always had Matchbox cars, little NASCAR diecast in my hands. Hold on, I might need to adjust our mic gain a little bit here, just because I'm picking up some sound. But I don't know. I was always around it. I tried T-ball, broke my nose playing T-ball, so that's skill. How do you break your nose playing T-ball? Well, I'll tell you. A fly ball came, my hand was right here, the ball hit me in the nose.
You were too busy catching butterflies, picking daisies.
I was like the guy on bench warmers out there with a butterfly in my mitt, and the ball hit me in the eye.
So baseball wasn't for you.
Baseball was not for me. Hold on, I'm just trying to make sure. It looks like our mic gain's picking up here. Baseball was not for me. I was always around it. I really wanted to race, but I don't think my mom was all about it, probably. And when I was 6, I got a kid cart for Christmas, and I went to Langley Speedway the next year and started.
Did you ask for the cart for Christmas, or did they surprise you with it?
I was begging to race. I was begging. So I started racing kid carts at Langley. A lot of people don't even know I started at Langley. It kind of gets overshadowed. I don't even know if it was the whole year. I ran most of the races, and then the next year was kind of the test of if I really was serious. We got kind of the kid cart. Wasn't really real racing. I mean, it was racing, but it was it was kind of a weird division, just kind of to learn. So I went dirt go-kart racing, and then that's where I really, I started winning my first year on dirt, and that's kind of where it took off, and we won a lot of dirt kart racing. I didn't really travel a lot. Like you see the people now always traveling and get into Eagles and the leather jackets, but I really just ran Dixieland, which is Albemarle Speedway. And we just kind of went from there, and as the success started happening, it got more and more serious, and that's when we started to move up. I don't know if you want me to keep going.
Nice. So let's talk about that. So you started in karts, and then your first jump was from a kart. Then you went arena car racing, right?
Yeah. So I actually ran 3 seasons on dirt. I think we skipped a year in there and took a year off just to make sure I was serious about racing before we spent money in it.
Yeah.
We won 3 championships and 31 races, which was really cool at that time. It was a lot of competition back then. It was a really fun part of my career. Looking back on it, had a lot of fun with kids my age racing, and then I started getting to where I was racing against kids older, but it's more age. Divisions are kind of based off age at that level. Yeah. So I did an arena year that was 2010 to 11 because I was going legend car racing was the plan. The arena car deal kind of just popped up. Got a car from C. Falk and those and his family that they had laying around, and I missed the first 2 races. So it was pretty fun though. I mean, we ran the whole year. Besides those 2, we finished like 3rd in the points with missing those races. But the plan all along was the legend car, which we ended up acquiring a sedan legend car over that winter. So the arena car was just kind of something that came and kind of filled the winter, and that's the only year I ran arena racing. But
tell me a little bit about it, because even before dating you, I didn't know anything about arena car racing. I didn't know it was happening right down the street from me. So, tell everyone what is arena car racing? Where did you do it? What made it different than what you were doing before?
Yeah, Arena Racing USA was literally in the Hampton Coliseum and the Richmond Coliseum.
Which is wild.
So, where you go see a hockey game, essentially, and they built an aluminum track inside where the hockey rink would be, and we raced around it in pretty much mini cup cars, 8-second laps.
It's wild.
So a lot of flipping over. I mean, flipping over was normal. You go to a race and people wreck and they slap the wall. That's normal stuff that happens. Flipping over was so normal in arena racing that some people had their sponsor on the bottom of the car. So they'd be upside down and people would read the bottom of the car. So I had a lot of fun. I mean, that was, we were I mean, Connor Hall, Macy Causey,
Yeah, there's a lot
Tommy
of big names.
Jackson. We ran a kid division. So, like, a lot of the guys that have moved up to legends and late models, we all were kids running in a kids series that was like 14
That's
of
cool.
us, and it was every week, and it was rough. I mean, we were kids and we ran over top each other. Like, we didn't care. Like, we have way more racecraft than we did then, and we still put on good shows, but we definitely weren't afraid to run into each other.
Yeah, really. That's wild.
That was arena racing. That was a fun time of my life. I still have the car, so
Yeah, is that the one that's out in the barn?
it's at the barn. So is my sedan, which I
Nice.
destroyed my end of my first year. So
Oops.
the legend car is still there.
So then what made you take that jump to legend car racing, going from arena to legend cars?
So, like I said, the arena car wasn't on the plan. Like,
Yeah.
that just happened. So the plan was karts to legends because at that time, that's what everybody that
was
like
the
made it was
trajectory.
doing. They would go to the legend car and then the late model. That was like the stepping stone of what a lot of people were doing. Nobody really went bandolero back then. Like, it was more legend to late model. So I had gone to Langley the year before I got a legend car just to go watch them to make sure that's what I wanted to do. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, yes. And my mom was like, no. And my dad was like, yeah, that's what we need to do. And I don't know. They knew how they're dangerous. I mean, I love them. I think it's the best thing I ever drove, but they're definitely dangerous. But I don't think we realized like what we were getting into till it was already happening, and then it was like, wow, like this is crazy. Which they're fast, they're lightweight. I learned so much. Obviously, Rhett Causey the first year helped me out a lot, and we had a lot of success my rookie year. We won 5 races at Southside and barely missed the championship. I didn't run full time at Langley that year, and then the second year I teamed up with Woody Howard. Nice. And we built a coupe because at the end, my last race of my rookie year, I got in a wreck and broke my hand and foot.
I remember that, yeah.
So I had to sit the whole winter thinking about it. And the best thing was we built a new car. I came back and, I won the championship at Southside the next year, but we had a really good time. And that's when I was teamed up with Woody Howard, who races late models with us. Yeah. And Woody was one of the greats in legend cars back throughout the day, and I had a lot of fun. Teamed up with him, we ran good. Still friends. Just went to an oyster roast at his house last night, and he's one of the first people to text me every time I win a race. So
that's awesome.
A lot of people don't realize it, but Woody and I were teammates back in the day, so that was really cool. A lot of fun.
Nice. So how many total seasons did you run in Legends?
2. 2011 and 2012. The first year was with the sedan, and then the second year was with the coupe.
So then tell me, your next move was going Legends up to late models.
Yes, so that was what Santa brought me at the end of 2012. I got a late model, and I walked out to the race shop on Christmas morning, and actually, I remember I had opened my present, and it was a steering wheel. And it was a bigger wheel than the legend car wheel. And I was like, man, why is it bigger? And they're like, oh, this is the new type wheel they want you to run or something. But I could tell it was used. So I was like, what is going on? And I walked out to the shop, and there it was. And it's funny because I think my parents know now, but like a week before Christmas, a photo got leaked of the late model, and it had an 03 on it.
Dang.
And somebody posted it from C. Falk's shop because it was C. Falk and Wesley Falk's car. Yeah. And it got deleted, but like I know I saw the photo, but like I'm like, that could be anything. Like just because it was already decaled when it got to my shop with my number. But somebody posted a photo and it was in the background, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting a late model. And sure enough, that was 2013, the end of 2012. So I started racing it in 2013, but sometimes I sit here and think of like, how did I mean, that was 10 years ago. Like, how did I get to where I'm at now? Like those first long days at the track with the late model. Oh man, like I never would have thought I'd gotten to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand. Like, I'm 25, but been racing 20 years now. Yeah. I mean, at the end of this year, it'll be 20 years. Like, it's pretty much my whole life. Like, you hear people that are older, like, yeah, I've been racing for 30 years. You know, you're 20 something years old. You're young. It's like, I've been racing 20 years myself. Yeah. Like, and that's when people go, well, like, how do you know what to do and how to handle this and handle that? And it's like, been racing for 20 years.
Been there
like,
for so long, yeah.
Like, it's not like I just started 3 years ago, and it's been a long process of building.
Yeah. So talk to me about that, because, I mean, for those who don't know, I've always been around racing, but I've never raced cars. So what was that like, going from a legend up to a late model? Like, what was that transition?
It was crazy. It honestly, they drove. Uh-oh, got a little static. Hold on. Yeah.
Oh, I just made this worse. Okay, go.
All right, I think we're good. We're bear with us. We're new podcasters, so we're having a little bit issues with our mics. We're probably going to have to get some new mics. I think we're all right now.
Yeah, if I just stand really still, I'm fine.
Yeah, so I think if you turn it to the, like, I've been turning mine like to, yeah, there you go.
Boom.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Well, bear with us here. We're working on it. So, is it mine or yours?
It's me.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay. I'm telling you, the best thing I did is just, I cranked that, like, to the side.
You crank that, Soldier Boy?
Yeah, you might just have to be still for this podcast. So
don't move it.
So
hold me. You have to let me get and then I can do it.
So I honestly, the late model drove easier when I first started. Yeah. Like, sounds crazy, but they had so much more grip than a legend car, longer wheelbase, drove easier. But when the tires got wore out, you know, that's when it got harder to drive. But I came into Langley at the wrong time, really, because it just paved the track. So when I started late model racing, I had unlimited grip. Tire wear didn't matter.
Yeah.
So for me, like, looking back on it, it probably hurt me because it took me a couple years to get caught back up. Like, yeah. Like, I started and I don't know. It just, is that recording?
Yeah, it's got the green light. Okay.
Yeah, so bear with us, people. Bean Pod. We're just making sure everything's going all right. We've had so many issues. We're just trying to make sure we get it all right. So going from the hardest thing was, like, legend car, you sat in the center of it, and the late model, you sat on the left side.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm 15. I haven't even drove on the actual road yet.
Yeah.
I mean, legally. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've drove around the neighborhood or something like that. When, like, I knew how to drive a car. But trying to judge where to put your car, like how close to the wall, because you're sitting far over. Like the legend car, you were right next to the wall because you were sitting in the middle of the car. Like, stuff like that was hard at first, but overall, like, it was fun. I mean, just learning how to shift the H pattern. The legend car wasn't an H pattern shifter. It was sequential, like the cup cars are now. So, you know, getting the H pattern was really cool. And I don't know, it took me a while. Like, I struggled. My first two races were awesome. Yeah. I qualified third my first ever late model race, finished fourth, went 2 laps down, got both my laps back, 150 lap race. My second race, I finished fourth again, and then it went downhill. Like, I wrecked, I don't know, like 6 weeks in a row, knocked the nose off like lap 1.
Jeez.
Like no matter what, no matter where I start, like, we got off. We didn't know what we were doing with the car probably too. Mm-hmm. And we kind of got off, just like how the track always cycles through the spring to the summer to the fall. Like, you got to stay up on your setup. And the field was stacked. I mean, we were racing against 20 cars a week at Langley at that time. And, you know, I didn't know nothing. And my my dad and my guys on the team, they knew how to work on a race car. But when you're racing against these guys that know what to do to them.
Yeah. Whole different ballpark.
So that was big. Just trying to get like that, up to date. And that's how I ended up with Phil Warren later in that year, crew chiefing me, because we needed somebody. And what a adventure of a lifetime that was with Phil.
Yeah.
Felipe.
Old
Felipe, who pretty much molded me into who I am to this last. I mean, it's our first year we haven't been together, but. Yeah. I don't get to this point in my career without him. So
for sure.
Yeah, that would be probably how it was going into late model racing though.
Nice. So Bill came along end of 2013.
He helped me, I remember him helping me the 4th of July race at Langley that year, because some reason that year we ran. Oh, you got a little hum stuff. All right, we're good. 4th of July weekend. We ran at Langley like on a Friday night or something. I can't remember, something like that. Because now it's South Boston every year, but I forgot. South Boston was a week. South Boston used to be like a Wednesday day race every year for that holiday. Like it wasn't a Saturday race.
Interesting.
Something like that, Wednesday or Thursday. So, which ought to be a Lee Pulliam question. He won that race like 8 times in a row or something. So, Phil helped me, and then he ended up crew chiefing somebody else. And then at the end of the year, I went to Martinsville, and he was helping somebody. I can't tell if it's my mic or yours.
Keep going.
It's got to be yours. Yeah. Hold on 1 second, peeps. All right, we're back. Basically, Phil crew chiefed somebody, and then I went to the Myrtle Beach 400 for the first time that year, and that's when he came into. Still doing it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to try to hold it or something.
Hold what?
Like hold around this, maybe.
Okay.
He crew chiefed me for the Myrtle Beach 400. Which was a disaster. Not his fault. We just we ran horrible. Like 25th or something like that, 24th.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have the experience either, but I'm glad I went. Like that's a pivotal moment in how I learned stuff. Like we just weren't good. And then we went to Kenley for the first time for the Thanksgiving Classic. He crew chiefed me. And we had a decent day, but I was dumb, impatient. Tore up my stuff early. I just made mistakes that I had to learn along the way. And I don't know. I remember the Thanksgiving Classic. I made the show because back then, like, there were 60, 70 cars at these things. Like, just at Kenley, there was like 50, 60 cars, I think. But made the show. I don't remember where I finished in the race. I remember I got carbon monoxide. Because I got the pipe knocked in early. I wrecked, and I learned a lot. But then, so where I was going with this is that's what transitioned into basically Phil the next year. He was spotting K&N stuff for Rev Racing, but it wasn't every weekend. So when he wasn't doing that, he was with me at the track, but he was at my shop like 3 days a week.
Nice.
So he did that with me for 2014 and 15, and in 2016 was when he came full time with me, and we won our championship at East Carolina. Nice. And then that's kind of when we were full time until this past year.
Nice. So what did that? I mean, 2016. God, I hate this. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah. So 2016, really the game changed for you. That's when you, like you said, you went to East Carolina, you started winning races. What really changed? Was it just going to a new track with things clicked, or?
I don't know. I feel like I was at such a different point in my life. I was about a year I turned 18, I guess. So I was kind of getting over that still young, but over the 15, 16-year-old hurdle. I was really focused on wanting to win races. I was in the shop a lot more. I just graduated high school, so I had more time to be at the shop. I pretty much was doing that full time, just at the shop every day. That was the year Craig Estep Jr. came over, so we had a teammate that year. We were a 2-car team for the first time ever. Had two full-time employees. Learned a lot working with both of them. But Phil was my crew chief. Craig was doing our rental car deal we were doing. And Langley closed. And at the end of 15, I went to East Carolina and ran a big 200-lap race with the big boys. I remember Justin Johnson, Deke McCaskill, those guys ran it. And I finished fourth. But I really liked the track. Had a lot of speed. So we went back for opening night in 2016. And actually, 2016, I had this idea that I was going to run for a national title. Never won a late model race. I thought I'm going to go run for a national title. More or less, I was going to race everywhere. Yeah. So we went to the icebreaker. Ran like crap. I think we ran good. We had just ran good in the 400. Mm-hmm. We had sat on the front row the year before. And we went back for the icebreaker. We just burned the tires up. My fault. Finished mid-pack. Then we were going to go to Caraway the next week, which ironically, I just won there.
Yeah.
And we ended up going to South Boston to practice. We ran the first couple of races at South Boston, and then East Carolina's opening night came up, and we're like, well, let's go down there and run that. And we went down and won, and then that kind of became like, well, let's go back down there. And we went back down there and ran okay, and then came back again and won. And then it's like, all right, we're leading the points. We gotta kind of think about, we could possibly run down here and win.
Yeah.
And not that we were cherry picking, but that was a track we could win at for our equipment. We had older stuff. We weren't a high dollar budget. I had that Atlantic sponsorship, but it was just a tractor trailer, and we had Atlantic on the car. It wasn't like we were having millions in the bank. So we ended up winning another race or two at East Carolina, and then we were leading the North Carolina State points. So we decided to run Kinley, or Southern National as most know it. Mm-hmm. And we were running that on the off week. So we didn't really get an off week. It was East Carolina, Kinley, East Carolina, Kinley. And we ended up winning the championship at East Carolina. We won 4 races, and then we lost the state on the last weekend by 1 point.
That's
so
crazy.
that burns. Yeah. I didn't get a suit. I really wanted one of those North Carolina State suits because I was a Virginia guy. So I didn't get one. And I'm not going to say never, but I probably won't get a chance for a while to race for a state. I won 10 races at Langley last year, but Peyton and those guys ran for a nice national title. And, I had enough wins or Lane Riggs, I think, won Virginia, maybe either him or Peyton. I had enough wins, but I just didn't have enough starts and stuff to try to compete with them. So maybe one day I'll get it, but hopefully I'm on to bigger stuff and can race late miles for fun.
For sure. So you came back from East Carolina back up to Langley. What was that like? Because I know y'all had a little bit of a slump before y'all started winning again at your home track.
A lot of a slump.
That was trying to help you out.
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We came back to Langley with some mojo. We're coming back. All these guys have been sitting around. We've been racing, won a championship, and we came back and absolutely sucked. I'm going to say it. Absolutely sucked.
What a great feeling.
And Phil backed me up on it. We came back and we were lap traffic. Don't know what the deal was, right? So I don't know. We struggled until I remember that year. That was 2017. We struggled until the Hampton Heat. The Hampton Heat, we finished second to Bobby McCarty. And if one thing went different on a restart there, and I got ahead of him, I probably win the race.
That's wild.
You're gonna have to adjust that mic again.
I'm adjusting like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. You keep moving it, so you gotta just try to stay still. I can't tell if it's mine or yours. Don't worry, we're gonna put on the title of this. We had mic issues the whole podcast. It was working fine. I don't understand. So it might be mine now. Is it yours?
I'm saying crystal. I'm statue, baby.
I'll hold mine like this. I don't care.
Okay.
So, anyways, we basically, we got another issue. The list of audio devices has been changed. Yeah, let's keep digging. All right, we're good. I think we're still recording. Let me
Looks like we've been digging.
Yeah, I think, is it still recording? I can't tell. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's still recording.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, sorry, where were we at? Sorry, like I said, this is going to be a learning progress for us, but we're still going to put this out, and we'll see how we...
God bless it for who listens.
Yeah, we'll see how we gain. So this is kind of where I guess my career turned to the point of, like, where people started saying I was good at the long races, because we ran like crap all year. We brought back out Gumby, my oldest car, with a Ford crate, and I finished second in the Hampton Heat.
Crazy.
Like, awesome. Like, at that time, I would have never thought at that time I was going to win 2 Hampton Heats. Like,
yeah.
Like, I finished second, and like, man, I was so close to winning this race. And like, for me, I think it's your mic. Tried to bend your cord up like this. Let's see what that does. Yeah, that sounds better.
Sounds good.
So basically, at that time, I was like, this is a win. Like, that's our crown jewel at our home track. And I didn't do a lot of traveling, so like, that was the big one.
Yeah.
Like, we want to win that race. That's our Daytona 500. Well, I remember we finished second. We had a little momentum. We ran pretty decent the rest of the year. Top 5s every week at Langley, which the first half of the year we were awful. Mm-hmm. So we go to the Myrtle Beach 400, and I make the show, which is a big deal. And same car, finished second in the Hampton Heat with. And we ended up on the start of our pace laps, a piece of lead fell out. So we had to pit and tape it all back in. I started 43rd and we finished 4th. And that was like, man, he's good at these long races, right? He's good at these long races. And at the end of 2016, I finished second in the Thanksgiving Classic too. So that's where like these big races, like everybody's like, yeah, he runs good in these long races. So I ended up that year I wrecked in the Thanksgiving Classic. I got T-boned and right at the end. But yeah, that was kind of how our Langley, we got back on track. And in 2018, we had some signs of life. Never won. We came close to winning opening night, and it didn't work out. And I may have parked the car on the front stretch and got black flagged and some other stuff. 2019, that's when I started driving for Greer. Mm-hmm. And we had an old car that he gave us to use, and we ended up winning a race for him. That was my first win at Langley.
Yeah.
And then really 2020 is when I got some Hedgecock equipment, and we won the Hampton Heat and won my first championship. And that's when it just really turned around.
All clicked. So going back to that first win, I mean, dang, you had been racing at Langley for what, 6 years at that point? Or 5, because, you know, that 1 year closed. I mean, talk about the mindset of that. Finally being able, after all those years, being able to check it off the box. Like, was that a change for you? Or, I mean, talk about that mindset.
Yeah, so honestly, to be completely honest with you, my first win at Langley was a hoax. Mm-hmm. I say it was a hoax. I didn't count it. Like, I counted on my stats, but like, as a driver, you know. Mm-hmm. I was battling for the lead on the outside of Greg Edwards in the first twin, and I broke a spindle. And so I had fresh tires for the second race. I had to start like 20th, but I came through the field and won. And like, it was something I wanted for so long, was to win at Langley. Yeah. But then I realized, like, I enjoyed it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was like, we won. Like, we still had to fix the car. We still had to start last. Like, but I had fresh tires, and I get it. So like that was. It was a cool moment because it was Greer's first win, and we had been trying for so long to win at Langley. But at the same time, it just didn't feel the same. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say that lit like a fire in you to go back in 2020 and win it for real? It
did. So we got that car in 2020, that car from Pulliam shop, and ironically.
Crazy.
It was Darren Cockram's car. And all we did was, we put our body on it, put our suspension on it, and went to the track, and it was instantly fast. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first race in it, because COVID hit, so we didn't race till July, I think the first week of July is when we raced, right before the Hampton Heat. And I finished second to Danny Edwards by I think I led the white flag on the outside, but I finished second to Danny, which was a big deal. And then we come back and we win the Hampton Heat.
Didn't your mom almost miss that race?
I don't think so. We'll have to ask her. I don't think so though. But I remember, I won the Hampton Heat, but the way I won it was so controversial. Or was that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
You're great.
Yeah, big word for me.
Wow.
So I knocked Corey Heim out the way, which is the car that I won the Hampton Heat in with this past year, which that'll be a story for another day.
Ironic.
But so once again, I win, and it's like, well, you didn't really win. You just roughed somebody up. So I'm like, man, unbelievable, right? Go through all this and I win. Don't get me wrong, I celebrated. I won the Hampton Heat.
Yeah.
I didn't at the time. I felt bad about how it went down, but as a driver, I also felt like it could have happened to me too. If I was in it's just how them races come down. Corey's a hell of a driver. Connor Hall's, won a lot of races. Obviously, they're both talented, and we just took a shot at it, and it obviously I would have rather raced it out, and
for sure.
But I can't take it back now. So we win the Hampton Heat, and then the rest of the year I'm on the pole. I think every race, but finished second and third, and I win the championship, but couldn't win a race. Win the Hampton Heat, which didn't count for points, and I can't win a points race. Finished second to somebody. I finished second to somebody different every week, but I couldn't win.
Crazy.
So that really lit a fire into me going into 21. We built a new car, but I didn't run it yet. We ran the same car from 2020, and then I came out the gate, won opening night, and then we won 5 races that year.
Yeah.
And then when we brought the new car out in 2022, it was like lights out.
Unstoppable.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's when you were in the picture.
So realistically, what you're saying is once I came in the picture,
I started winning.
So
a lot of races. I went from winning a couple to a lot.
So what you're saying is I was the missing piece on the 03 team.
Celsius sponsor us, by the way.
Yes, Thank please. You. Love grape. That's fantastic. So cool. Going into it, 2022 season, like you said, you were winning basically every week that we showed up. Yep. It was sick. And then we made a last minute decision to run the Cars Tour race.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Yeah, so I wasn't going to run the 2022 Cars Tour race at Langley. I wanted to, but I couldn't afford it. And Old School Video Games, I think, bought my tires for that race is how that went down. But I basically waited till the deadline. That Tuesday, they shut off the late fee or you're going to pay a late fee. And I remember I signed up at 2 o'clock to race that race. Yeah. And I was going to take my old car. I didn't even take the new car because we were leading the point. We were undefeated at Langley. We were undefeated. We had won 3 in a row. So I'm like, we're chasing our third. At that time, I was chasing my third championship in a row at Langley, which was a record-breaking thing to be in a different category. Yeah. With CE and Elton, the only 2 that had done that. So I was really focused on that. And I was racing dirt on Friday nights. And then on top of that, I was working at the port. Well, we go to the Langley for the practice on that Friday. We have no practice tires because of the tire shortage, and we actually broke. I didn't even get a lap of practice. I literally left pit road and broke oil seal on the oil block on the Ford. I literally just coasted back to the pits. I didn't make a lap, so we go home and we were going to fix it. We were going to pull the motor and fix it, and we took a vote. Except my dad didn't vote yes. Everybody voted, let's just take the car we've been winning with. And
sorry, Mike.
and we weren't going to have a lot of practice, so it was just it made sense. Let's just take the car. We know we just show up and race it. So we came back, qualified third, which I was next to last in practice, by the way, because I had no tires. Qualified third and dropped to next to last, saving tires. And last lap pass, I led 1 lap. That was my first lap led in my Cars Tour career, and it was to win the race. And So we were undefeated at Langley, plus the Cars Tour win, which was just so much momentum. And that was probably the turning point of my career step to go Cars Tour full time. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the turning point.
That's crazy. So like you said, then you made the decision to go Cars Tour racing. John Staten and his family, BRC, came in the picture.
Yeah. I was driving John's dirt car at the time, and they'd been watching me, and I had no idea that this was coming, and I won the tour race, and that's kind of when he started talking to me about, like, hey, what would it take to go run the tour? Or, like, can we do it out of your shop? Do we need to hire people? And that's when I kind of told him, I was like, man, I just think it would be smarter to just go with a team that does it, where they have notes with the tire shortage. And I took him, introduced him to Lee Pulliam around Wilkesboro time, and it just all clicked, and we signed a deal with Lee and went to the 400 for the first race together and won. And I felt like a hero because I had introduced them and sold this idea like, hey, this is who we need to go with. And when you win the first race, when somebody makes an investment, you're like, hey, good job. So I felt really good about that. And that's when I knew I was in a good spot, which I mean, I take that back. I knew I was in a good spot, but that's when I really knew, like, I have a really good opportunity, almost like Willy Wonka. I had a golden ticket, blah, blah. Like, I had a golden ticket. I needed to win races.
For sure. So next week, little preview, a little sneak peek, we're actually going to break down your Cars Tour, first season of the Cars Tour. But looking back on your career, what was that? When did you have that point, or, when did it come into the picture that you're like, this is what I want to do? Like, this isn't really just a hobby. Like, this is... When
I was 6 years old.
The start of it all.
Everything. I want to be a race car driver.
Yeah.
I never questioned it. I say that. I never doubt. Like, I knew I wanted to do it. There was years where I was like, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I need to find something else to do, save my parents money. Like, them years at Langley, when I was struggling, they were rough. Like, I'm a never give up attitude guy, but there was days I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore because I was that bad at times. Like, and it wasn't that it was just me. Like, it was, our setup was off, our cars were old, I wasn't driving right. Like I learned a lot about how to drive that track with Phil.
Yeah. And
it just transitioned. And I think once I figured out that feeling, Phil told me, once you figure out what you need to win and you feel it, you're going to,
it'll be gold.
You'll know it. And man, it's really showed this year, I think, in the Cars Tour.
I love it.
Yeah.
Look at you. All right, let me check my list of questions.
Yeah.
I feel like I hit it all.
Absolutely.
So next week we're gonna break it down week by week and go through our season. But what's next on the horizon?
As far as, so I was looking at your little note sheet here. So you're on the what's
I'm on
next?
The last part. What's on the horizon?
Yeah. So
what comes next for Brenden Queen?
Well, we didn't recap last race. We skipped that. Come on, co-host.
What?
It says recap last race up top. We didn't ever do that.
Brenden Queen, tell me about your last race.
Yeah, so we just got back from Caraway.
Woo!
That was fun. Eventful, stressful.
Yeah.
All of the above. Had a championship on the line. Super proud of that LPP team. We broke a axle on, I burped Celsius. Axle, sorry. We broke an axle on Friday. Had to pull the rear. Had to borrow a rear from Jay Hedgecock. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks,
Put
Jay.
it in the car just in time to qualify. Got the pole. On a weekend where we had to get the pole, we had to lead the most laps, we had to win. It's our only shot. We did all of the above and came up 5 points short of the championship, but we won the last two Cars Tour races, flag to flag from the pole. Very, very proud of the LPP team, and excited to get to Florence next week, obviously, for the 400. We won that race last year, and hopefully we can do it again. But man, I feel like if there's a team that has momentum, it's got to be this 03 team, because it's been a crazy. We've won 3 out of the last 5 Cars Tour races and got the pole in all 3 of those.
That's crazy.
And another stat is crazy. Like, this year, every race I won in the tour, I think, was from the pole. Like, I don't think I had a race where I wasn't on the pole that I didn't win.
Were we at the pole? We were at the pole a Goodyear.
Goodyear, Wilkesboro, Tri-County, and Caraway, all on the pole, which is crazy. Like,
That's unreal.
I thought, like, maybe I got a win from not on the pole, but there was nights I was on the pole and I didn't win, like Dominion, and we ran out of gas at Tri-County, but it's just a cool little stat. But yeah, so that Caraway was fun. We got the check right here. Got to hang it up. It's down here. It's gonna be cool.
We're running out of wall space.
Yeah, I'm excited though. Caraway was fun. Like, I struggled there in July. I mean, I beat Larson. That was cool, but we finished 6th or 7th, something like that. So to come back and get the pole and win, I learned a lot at these tracks the first time, to where the second time I had a way better feel of what I needed, because I knew at Caraway in July where I struggled in the race, like what happened. Yeah. So I attacked it different as soon as I got there on Thursday. I drove the place completely different. What
was a favorite track that you ran at this year? At least for the new ones.
We had this discussion last night at the Oyster Roast. I think Tri-County's got to be up there. Not just, and this is not just because I won at these places. Like, Tri-County was fun as a driver. You can move around, have a lot of fun. That was a blast. I would say Goodyear was fun. Low grip, but a big track. That was fun. How can you not like Wilkesboro? Yeah. Caraway was fun. Ace was fun. Wake County was a blast. Wish I wouldn't have had to go to the rear, but that was a blast. Like, but I think Tri-County's up there, Wake County and Goodyear. Those are 3 really good tracks that are fun. A little bit, all are different characters. So that was cool.
Nice. I think Goodyear's got to be a favorite for mine. I've got family in the area that was really cool. And then my cousins were able to come out to the race. Yeah. Came down to Victory Lane. They've got 2 little boys, so I didn't think they were going to stay the whole time, but they did and made it to Victory Lane. Yeah. That was an awesome weekend.
That was pretty cool. And they got a checkered flag they got to take home. That was cool.
Heck yeah.
That was cool. I like how the car store's been giving me 2 flags. Like, that's really cool. I gave Dougie's kid one at Tri-County, and I gave the Staten family one at Caraway. So
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that's
they've been giving me 2 flags. So that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's go back to my question. What is on the horizon? What comes for Brenden in 2024?
Well, we signed with Lee Pulliam Performance to drive the 03 bestrepair.net Toyota in the Cars Tour and the Triple Crown. Not sure about what additional races as of now. Not saying we are going to add any or we're not. We're just kind of taking it week to week. Like, we might add something. It's kind of up to the Staten family and Best Repair, what they want to do. Looking forward to it. Going to miss Dougie next year. My crew chief not coming back, but we still got a solid group of guys, and somebody's going to step up and take his spot at some point. We don't know who, but
big shoes to fill.
Yes, very big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill. It's going to be fun. A lot of those guys are coming back. I think Maddie and Ben are still going to help, and
that's awesome.
We got Christian and Colin, and tire guy Eddie's coming back. Spotter Anthony Warren's coming back. Girlfriend Nicole's coming back.
Wow, that's a big one.
Now, I'm excited to be there. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to have a shot to win a lot of races. We want to win the Cars Tour Championship, obviously, and we want to win Triple Crown. We finished second in both this year, so we're looking forward to that. That's going to be fun, and I'm working on some deals, for other stuff, so we'll just see what happens.
Sweet.
So,
excited. Well, that was all the questions on my list.
Well, I think we probably pierced whoever listens to this ears enough.
Probably.
Yeah. Sorry about our mic issues. We're going to have that cleaned up. And
shout out to Bean Nation. If you made it through this far, wow, you're a real one.
Thank you to Bean Nation. Hopefully you're listening to this on your AirPods at the Waffle House and enjoying you a chocolate milk and a waffle. But
scrolling on crossauthentics.com, getting you some Brenden Queen merch.
Cross Authentics. That's where our merch is. Like what you plugged that in there. I just want to say thank you for listening, checking us out. And the reason we're going to keep it raw and just roll on with the issues we had today is because we want to see it get better. We're going to get better. We're going to upgrade these mics. And I just want to see it progress because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe we'll do a poll, like who you want to see on here in the comments. Like, cool. You start giving us ideas of people that you might, I think we're going to get people. I'd like to get Lee on here at one point. I'd like to get Phil on here.
Mm-hmm.
My spotter, people like that. Woody Howard on here.
Gotta get Greg Edwards.
Yeah, Greg Edwards is coming on here. I'm going to get him on here. I've already talked to him about that, so he's going to get on here.
Hey, before we wrap up, I do have one quick question for you.
That's all right.
How's your fantasy team doing? It is Sunday while we're recording this, and both of our phones have been blown up. Give the listeners a little.
Yeah, let me see what we got.
Nation.
Let me see what we got here.
Who are you playing this week?
I am playing Ben. I can't get it open. Let's see what we got here. So I'm probably getting absolutely destroyed right now.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Are you losing? Please tell me you're losing.
I'm losing really bad to John.
Oh, I'm back up. 59% winning.
I can't even tell you the score right now. This is so
awesome. I hope we bring it down. I hope Sunday Money, Ben, he's going down. So appreciate y'all listening.
My team is 83-8.
Well,
I'm at 30% chance.
Appreciate y'all. Like I said, we'll see you probably. I don't know what day we're gonna record, but probably next week we'll have one after Florence.
We'll record. Yeah, we'll record it on Sunday when we get back.
Probably on Sundays. So it'd be out probably Tuesday or so.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna find our cadence.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's a work in progress. Just stay with us. Check us out. Appreciate it, Bean fans.
Bean Nation.
Thanks.
See you next time. Peace out, Cub Scouts.